Hi class. Well, we're gonna do green peppercorn steak, pan-seared top sirloin with green peppercorn sauce. This is something I make at home all the time. Here I am in my kitchen, and we are gonna make this right now. So here we go. It's a fast cooking dish. So here's the mise en place. I've got a little butter. Your recipe calls for clarified butter. I like to use whole butter because I like the browning of it a little bit. I've got some minced shallots. I've got some salt. I've got green peppercorns. These are intense. They look like capers, but they're certainly not. They're real flavorful and lovely with this. They also go well with Cabernets and good red wine. I've got glace de viande. This is something I made a week ago, and I demoed that. I've got cream, brandy, port, black pepper to go with the salt, and then here's the meat, and this is sirloin. It's been salt and peppered. This is enough for 2 people. Each person will get 2, and they are cut kind of thin, so we get a quick cook on this. All right, I've got a pan getting hot here. Butter's going in. It's going to start melting, and I'm going to crank up the heat on this. I want a high heat. So we're going to let that butter melt and actually brown a little bit. I want it hot when everything goes in. You can hear it starting to sizzle. So one thing we want to do is we want to get that pan good and hot so that we'll get some browning on the meat. That's going to be key. So we're going to start with the meat, and then the shallots are going to go in, the peppercorns, and then we'll deglaze with the brandy and the port. And I'm going to get the lids off of these. We may get a little flameage from this alcohol, so be prepared for a little bit of fire. And we want to make sure we don't have anything flammable above. All right, you can hear that. You can hear that butter starting to sizzle. That's a good thing. I want a little bit of browning here to happen. So just a little bit of browning on the butter. If it's clarified, you're not going to get the browning as much. And I really like that brown butter flavor going on here. It's really what makes this dish nice, I think. So that's a slight variation from the recipe that's in the text. The recipe in the text calls for clarified butter. All right, so take a look here. We're starting to get some browning on the edges of this butter. You see the browning happening there. And we'll just move this around a little bit. We'll start with the thicker pieces of meat. Those are going to go in. This is top sirloin. And we're going to let those brown a little bit. All right. So most of the cooking here is going to happen on this side. I really want to brown it nice on this side. So I want to get a little bit of caramelization, a little Maillard reaction on the steaks here. Move this around a little bit, keep that going. We want to make sure it doesn't burn. And if we're not paying attention, it may, but as long as we're here and moving it, it's going to be fine. All right, so I'm going to make a little bit of space here in the middle, and the shallots are going to go in. That's 1 shallot minced. So your textbook calls this an integral sauce, a sauce made in the pan. So from the drippings is what the sauce is created from. However, I don't know that I fully agree with that because there's glace de viande in here. And glace de viande is certainly not integral to this sauce. It's a reduced beef stock by a factor of 10. So this is going to add a lot of flavor, and it's something that's a nice little secret that chefs use. All right, here we go. We're going to flip these steaks. We've got some browning going on. The shallots are working their way into the butter. Got a little movement. Here goes the peppercorns in. And these steaks are thin, so they're not going to take long to cook. We'll move those peppercorns around a little bit. We've got nice browning on those steaks. And the sauce is made up of cream, not too much cream, the glace de viand, brandy, and port. So here we go with the port. About an ounce of brandy, and this should flame a little bit. Give this a little toss like that. We've got some nice flames happening. A little bit of glace de viand, maybe a couple tablespoons. That's like adding, a couple tablespoons is adding like 2 cups of stock already reduced. So it really makes a nice sauce. We'll toss this around a little bit. The flames of the alcohol's burned off. So we're good there. And we're going to add just a little bit of cream. Just a little bit like that. A little salt. A little pepper. Get it blended nicely. You can see that sauce has really formed well from the glace de viand. A little bit of cream, not much. That was probably only about 1.5 ounces of cream in there. It'll reduce briefly. Those steaks are done. This has only taken, 3 minutes of cooking, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna turn that off. I've got some farro that we're gonna plate this with. This is farro with wild mushroom. Anson Mills is one of my favorite mills for this kind of thing. I'll put that on the plate. Here come the steaks. I like to overlap these just a wee bit. I like to keep them a little bit on the pink side, on the inside. And let's see about reducing this sauce just a wee bit. Just to thicken it up. It's not going to take more than a couple of seconds here. So see how it's a little bit thin right now? We'll reduce this a little bit and it'll be perfect. One thing that the recipe calls for is a little bit of vinegar too. So I'm going to add, you can use lemon or vinegar. Either one is good. I've got a little rice vinegar here, which is really nice. And so just a drop of that. Just for a little acidity, it kind of balances all the fat that's in there from the cream and the butter. So just a drop of acidity. So lemon works great. Any kind of vinegar will work, and that looks nice. That looks perfectly thickened. We'll put that over the top. And I pour a little bit here, a little bit here, and I usually go back and forth to get those peppercorns from the bottom so each person gets a little bit. All right, there it is. That's pan-seared sirloin with green peppercorn sauce. Enjoy.